lot of things, but I don't know enough about you. Just when I think you're mine, you try a different line. Baby, what can I do? I read the latest news, no buttons on my shoes.
They have this thing.
Hey, we about ready to do this, guys?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yes.
Let's do it. Hello, friends. This is West Coast Ramble, episode 75. And we got some big guests coming in here. We're going to predict the future of what's going to be happening in the scene in September, I believe. But before we get to that, let's say hello to our good friends, Big Sandy. Say hello, Big Sandy.
Hey, how you doing, Tom? Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, it's great to see you, Mr. Big Sandy. You
In
always
a couple of
great.
weeks.
It has been, because you know what? We're planning out really hit shows. We're not just going to throw up any show. We're going to do a quality show for you fine people.
We're just that way. We're funny that way.
Hey, and we've also got a friend over here. You know this guy. This is Paul. Say hello, Paul.
There he is.
Hey, speaking of quality shows, that's why I had so much to do in the last one, right?
Oh, stop that, mister.
No. It's good to see you guys. Happy Valentine's
Wow.
Day.
Yeah.
I missed you both. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. And, you know, friends, I do want to boast a little bit. If we noticed, Robert is dressed well. Paul is dressed well. You always look good. But if I may boast of myself, I'm wearing the new West Coast Ramble t-shirt.
You're dressed the best.
Yeah, it's made of fine cotton. Now, friends, if you'd like to get one, just go to our Facebook page and Venmo, or and I'll send you the shirt out the next day, and I'll even throw in a couple stickers. So I don't know. It sounds like a value to me.
Holy guacamole.
Yeah. So, anyways, hey, but you know,
It's a mega deal.
enough about us, friends. You know what? What's been going on with you guys? I'd like to know. Big Sandy, start with you, sir.
Well, I've been doing a lot of research for for Eclectic American Roots, but I did have a little bit of a breather. So we didn't have our show last week, and there was a rerun episode for our last Eclectic American Roots. So staying busy, but not without the deadline sort of pace. So it was kind of nice, just working on things around here. Did a little cleaning up and took everything out of the little studio here. Mopped the floor. Just doing things like that. Just catching up with things.
Yeah. And Paul, what have you been doing, sir?
Well, I've been doing my best just to keep diving into music as much as I can. Since our last episode, I had the bittersweet privilege to I was hired to play a funeral up in LA, or a service, and we ended up doing a version of Let It Be and Stairway to Heaven, featuring acoustic guitar, cello, and harp, and another male vocal.
Cool.
So that was a lot of fun, and I'm proud to say now I am finally making enough money giving lessons that I think I have to file taxes.
That's a good problem to have, sir.
I'm not mad about it.
Sorry.
Okay, friends, I was looking at the chat board and said someone's having problem hearing this, but Alan Schruck says, hey, it sounds great here. So I don't know what to say about that, friends.
Well, I would say get the banana out of your ear.
Oh,
Oh, that's another. That's
I
a joke. That's
I
a
see that.
joke.
Oh,
Uncle Esteban already has the usual request.
is he? And what does he request?
He wants some more political talk from us. Political
Okay.
talk. Here
It's
we
time
go.
for jokes, huh?
Why not?
It's time for jokes, guys.
Chime in with your jokes online, and I'll push the button if we have a good one.
All right.
And
all
hello,
right.
everybody. I see there's some good names on the list here today.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. I'll tell
Julie,
you that much.
Abby, Dan. Dan says it sounds good. Okay, Raven
Hi, Stephen
Darkley.
Edwards.
All right. Mr. Big Sandy, happy
Yes.
Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
What Valentine's Day message can you find in a honeycomb?
Well, I don't know, Paul. What Valentine's message can you find in a honeycomb?
Be mine.
Hey,
Okay,
man,
all right.
quality entertainment.
And, so we didn't talk about this ahead of time. Looks like we're both going the same directions with Valentine's and the love theme in general. That's good. See, we're on the same wavelength sometimes. Okay, hey Paul,
What's up, Big Sandy?
what did one light bulb say to the other?
I don't know, Big Sandy. What did one light bulb say to the other?
I love you a whole lot.
Hey, that's worth going up a half step for.
All right, Big Sandy. Speaking of lovers and lovey things, here's a lover joke for you here, Big Sandy.
Yes.
What goes in hard and dry, but comes out soft and wet?
I don't know about this one.
No, Paul. What goes in hard and dry, but comes out soft and what?
Gum.
Gum. Okay.
Oh, come on, man.
He said gum, people. Come on, I got my uncle here. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Here's one of my more patented unfunny jokes. So. Okay. Hey, Paul.
Yes, sir.
What happened to the drunken, lonely bachelor who fell in love with his garden?
I don't know, Big Sandy. What happened to the drunken, lonely bachelor that fell in love with his garden?
He wed his plants.
Big Sandy, are you making up these jokes, or are these Big Sandy jokes? That's amazing.
I had the same joke highlighted, so now I gotta pick another one.
Yeah, but I like reworking these jokes. See, as they're written originally, they're like really funny. I like to like change things around to make them less funny.
What? Maybe a coffee table book of Big Sandy's jokes? Big Sandy and Paul jokes? Okay, go ahead.
Paul.
All right, Mr. Big Sandy. What did one Hershey's bar say to the other who arrived long past their date time?
What did the Hershey bar say to the other Hershey bar who arrived long past their deadline? That sounds like one of my dumb jokes.
You're chocolate.
Okay.
Hey, that was good, Paul. I like that.
Okay. Late and time and that sort of thing. Paul.
Yes,
This
sir.
is a good one for you. This is a good one for you, being forever the romantic orthographist. I ask you, what is worth more than 1,000 late consonants?
I don't know. What is worth more than 1,000 late consonants?
A vowel in time.
Hey, we got one last joke for you guys because I'm running out of frets.
Okay, go ahead.
Look how high I'm about this thing.
All right, Big Sandy. Why isn't there a pregnant Barbie doll?
First of all, there isn't? Okay, I don't know, Paul. Why isn't there a pregnant Barbie doll?
I mean, Ken came in another box.
Oh, come on, man.
What? He came in another.
Okay,
You can't buy Barbie and Ken together.
Okay. All right. Here.
I got a yay from Uncle
Okay,
Esteban.
here, hold on. I know you. Why are you stopping?
Oh, they said, hold on. I don't know. I'm just doing what you told me.
I'm telling you. I know you got good marks in geometry in school, Paul. So this is for you here. Why did the scalene triangle reject the advances of the obtuse triangle?
I don't know. Why did the scale angle try to obscure the advances of the obscure angle?
The advances. What is? Anyway.
Why did they? Why?
Why did she reject the advances of the obtuse triangle? Because while she did have an eye for acute isosceles, what she really wanted was a right one. A right triangle. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
Hey, man, I only got 3 years of college doesn't get that for me.
Yeah, the same for me, man. All right. We'll do one more QC.
Have you heard of books?
Okay, last joke, guys.
There's a new thing called the dictionary. Oh.
Last joke.
All right.
Here we go.
Big Sandy, what Valentine's Day candy is best to give a girl?
I don't know, Paul. I don't know, Paul. What? You just got I kind of faked for a moment. A Valentine's girl. All right. I don't know, Paul. What is the best Valentine's candy to give a girl?
Hershey Kisses.
All right. Okay.
Oh
If you're
man,
not sure, he kisses. Go ahead.
there you go.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, the uncle liked him. Basically, my boss from the music place.
Why is Raven
liked him.
frowning? Oh
They're
no.
bad.
Oh,
That's that. That's why Raven doesn't donate until after the show because he doesn't want to have to like take it back if he's.
Raven's clapping. Okay, friends, enough of this foolery.
Enough of this nonsense.
Enough of
Wait.
this- Yes.
Let me read one randomly. What did the amorous mummy say to the scarab?
I don't know. What did the amorous mummy say to the
I got you
scarab?
wrapped around my little finger.
Oh, that's sweet.
All right. That's Susan Edwards there. Yeah. All right.
All right. Okay, friends.
Nice.
Hey, Paul, could you please tell us who we got on this show? I'm excited. They're waiting in the background for us to get done with this foolishness.
All right. Well, we've had Shaun Mencher, and now we have another member of one of the best rockabilly trios ever. Now we have the other Shaun coming on with us to talk about High Noon, a little bit of what's going on at Swell Tune Records, and he also has his lovely partner Beck, who's talking about the outstanding New England Shakeup, guys. And that's a festival that's been rocking. I know Abby's gone out there just to check it out. I've been like had my fingers crossed for a long time. I want to play it. I want to get my band out there. They always put on a good show. And if everything goes as to plan, Viva Las Vegas, they have their makeup date. But I think this is going to be the first full-fledged festival that's going to kick off, and I really hope it does. So we're going to be talking some New England Shakeup with Beck and all things High Noon in the studio with Shaun. So with that, welcome to West Coast Ramble, guys.
Hey.
Yo,
Hey, everybody.
Respect. Hey, oh, look at that. Oh, I know that room, but the room looks different, and things are growing and changing around there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Beck Rustic is the one you see in the right of your screen there, and Shaun Young, and he's the other person there. But I tell you what, just as Valentine's Day and that sort of thing, I tell you, you guys have become such a wonderful union, joining all that's cool about in both of your worlds into one big, beautiful thing. So it's great to have you on the show. We didn't plan it this way, but it just turns out that it's, the day after Valentine's Day. So with that in mind, thank you and welcome to the show. You too.
Well, thanks for having us. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a rockabilly power couple.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a hell of a record collection, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, as Paul was just talking about, I'll talk to Becca for a moment here. I like the way that you are handling, the upcoming weekender as it gets closer. You're keeping the. It's funny. It's not that it's going to change, but I think it helps to have this positive attitude, move forward as if it is. But you always let people know that you're. I think cautiously optimistic is a phrase that I've seen you use there. But I think that this will be able to go full steam ahead. I tell you, is that where you're at right now with this? Did I sum that up all right?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is to make sure everything's the safest as we can have
Right.
it for everybody. So obviously things will be a little different. We'll have, I don't know what the mask mandate will be at that time. So,
Yeah.
We may have to just match masks to outfits and, we'll make it fun. We'll make it just part of the weekend. As far as, if it can happen, hopefully it can. I'm, like you said, remaining optimistic that we can move forward. The capacity is 1,000 right now. So, and that's what the shakeup usually is. So, I haven't had to make many changes there. But yeah, as we get closer, I'll know more. I just keep trying to. Oh, sorry.
Oh, didn't mean to step on your toe. It's just a little funny. Sorry with the delay there a little bit. But what I wanted to ask you is that with you had to postpone last year's like everybody else did with their events. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about what advantages did that bring? What is going to be better about this year because you had a little bit more time to plan it?
Well, because I have an extra year, that means I have an extra year for just planning all the little details. Like, there's a on the Saturday we have this thing called the Bay State Barn Dance. So now I have a whole extra year to make stage props
Yeah.
and things like that. And so I feel like, in a way, it's terrible that we haven't had it last year.
Sure.
But on the plus side, it's going to be so dialed in this year because I've had a whole extra year to plan everything that I'm kind of excited that I've had the extra time to do all these things, and we're in a new venue than previous years. So the extra year is nice for that as well. So I can get that hotel completely up to speed with what I need to make everybody have a good time for the weekend.
And just observing how you work in general, at least from my perspective, you have used every minute of that so-called extra time, because I know with you, extra time means more work. That's true, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a graphic designer, so more time just means I can design more things and more merchandise and just more stuff. So like the walls are closing in here with like more things that I'm making. It's bad.
I can attest to all that.
You mentioned the new venue. What will this new venue bring to add to the event?
Well, the new venue has more rooms for one. So
Okay, well that's right off the bat. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone will be able to stay right in that hotel. We won't have to really move anyone to another hotel because there's no space. Just quite frankly, the acoustics in the ballroom are better, so it's nice. And the layout is different. It's kind of more compact. Like the vendor room is closer to the ballroom, so between bands, if someone needs to just run out and get into an area where it's a little quieter, it's closer to the vendor room to do that. So yeah, it's just a little. The hotel's kind of more circular, so navigating yourself around is a little bit easier than before.
Oh, I'm looking forward to checking it out. We were lucky enough to be one of the bands on the lineup there. Maybe we're talking about it in a general way. Maybe for the uninitiated, although most people watching the show are in the know. Maybe you can talk just a little bit about the specifics. The dates and some of the acts that you're looking forward to having on.
Yep. So it's always the last full weekend of September. So this year it's the 24th, 25th, and 26th, and then we have a pre-party on the 23rd. Right in the hotel, because there's a lot of people that fly in on the Thursday. So there's that going on the Thursday. And there's a vendor room open all weekend. This year we have a new event called the Bay State Barn Dance, which is a seated variety music show that's sort of like Ozark Jubilee and Louisiana Hayride, Town Hall Party. It's kind of has that feel. And we have guests coming in just for that. So they're not on the regular bill, but they're coming in just to do a few songs, especially just for that part. And then we have people that are on the bill that are doing a few songs during that as well, like Big Sandy, for example. And then we've also.
Just joking.
Did you know you're playing the Bay State Barn Dance?
Actually, I did know because you are very good at keeping everybody in the know. Like you're very good at that. You're very organized, and that's quite a thing. When you have so much going on to be organized and focused on things, there's so much to focus on. I admire that quite. That's a lot. Something
that before Shaun and Beck were Shaun and Beck. And I was going out to play the Shake Up. That's something that I was always very impressed with that festival. Was you always knew where you were going to be or who was picking you up, or just the information and the way that she treats artists that come in. It was always top notch, and I always loved that about
it's incredible.
About going to play the Shake Up.
It's incredible. You attend to so many different details. Yeah. Yet, I'll look over you during the weekend, and there are moments where you seem to actually be having fun. Like you can actually enjoy it. Yeah,
He has never missed a band that's played, never missed a set.
Hey,
He's
friends,
out there the whole time.
Beck sent me some photos. Would you mind if I played the photos, sort of do a show and tell of what it's like at the New England Shake-Up, so if anyone who's not been there, they can take a look at it? Would you mind?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
I mean, I don't mind.
Yes,
All right.
I do not mind. Okay, hey, look at there. There's a Ken Motti there, and
Yeah.
some of
I
some of the
should point
beautiful
out,
weekend.
Ken Motti is going to be the MC of the Bay State Barn Dance,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
which is
Which
good.
I don't know if anybody that's experienced Ken Motti emceeing something knows that we're in for a treat on that. He's a nut.
Hey,
Everybody loves a nut.
is that sugar balls in the back there?
It is indeed. It is.
Tell there. Oh, it is.
Yeah. Okay, and then
Dance, sugar balls, dance.
and then you got what was
That's,
this episode?
That is Gene Maltese with Jittery Jack and Amy Griffin. He sang The Raging Sea back in the 50s, and he hadn't been on a stage in, he said 30 years. He said to say 30 years, but had really been like 40.
Whoa,
But he felt like
Yeah.
that
Wow.
was too much.
that
So
is
he
cool.
came up and did a few songs during Jittery Jack's set. And it was amazing. Like, you know, The Raging Sea is just such a classic song that
Well,
I was really happy to
Well,
have
would
been
you
able to convince him to do that.
would you mind if I played 10 seconds or maybe 20 seconds of him playing that here? Let me play it.
Yeah.
Smother me with kisses. That's my house in love. 'Cause everything that I'm living in the world is to you like that. I cling to you like a honey bee to her love. Like a raging sea. Rush me with the power of the love.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I wish I'd been there for that one.
yeah, that's cool. Let's see. What
Beck,
else
it's really cool to have a promoter on the show here, and just that you've mentioned, the Bay State Barn Dance. There's a lot of people in that show that are friends with the show, like Becky Lynn Blanca, Tammy Savoy. They've all been on. Dave Stuckey's been on a few times, and I had a question. As someone in a band and kind of like a layperson's question, what did you think? Like, how did you come up with who was going to be booked? Did you just keep everybody from the last year, or were there things that you had to keep in mind about, like, I don't want these people flying in anymore, or stuff along those lines?
You mean when we rolled over from 2020? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is that concern too. The 2020 lineup had Glenn Duran and the Prairie Echoes scheduled, but I had talked to Glenn and he had decided that, as of right now, he's just going to roll over to 2022, because he wasn't sure, if the restrictions for travel were going to let them come over and
From the UK, yeah.
from the UK. Excuse me, and so we just rolled him over to 2022.
And the Black Cap Boppers are coming too from England. So barring
Good.
restrictions,
Yeah,
they're still planning on coming. But of course, we'll just have to see what happens. But
yeah, and then Bloodshot Bill, the Canadian border, I'm not sure how that'll be either. So we're just tentatively keeping watch on the borders, and if anyone, and even if the shakeup is happening, but some of the musicians don't feel comfortable traveling, then we'll just roll them over to the next year. I don't want to make anyone feel like they have to play if health concerns are too great for them, and
Yeah, that's
So-
totally respectable. I guess
That's always
I'll ask
her-
this really quick.
her focus is always on the attendees and the artists and just making sure everybody's there for the reason that everybody goes to a weekend, or just to have a good time and that the artists are having a good time and are comfortable, so they can put on the best show that they can put on.
And I got a question, like, okay, if I want to come in from out of town, like, how much is it going to cost me to go in there? And is it like, it's a 3-day festival? How much does it cost me? And how much is it for a room?
So the rooms are $119 a night at the hotel, and the ticket is $100, and that gets you into everything for the entire 3 days, all of the events, everything. The pre-party's free, so that's not an extra. That's not an extra cost. Plane tickets, the pricing is so weird right now because of pandemic, so I don't really know what those will be, but we're 30 minutes from the airport, and there's a commuter rail from the airport to Framingham, so you don't have to rent a car if you don't want to get from the hotel to the airport and vice versa. So there's a little cost savings there too. So it's not, and it's a lot of money. $100 is a lot of money for people right now. So I'm just trying to make this a really worth it weekend for everybody. So
and it's in September.
I do appreciate the people that have bought tickets so far, and the people that rolled over their tickets from 2020. So it's really appreciated that people are still trying to support music in these times,
Oh yeah. And September's a great month too in that area, just right before the fall and everything like that. It's beautiful.
Is it ever?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, that's why I picked September. Is like that's the time to come to New England.
Raven Darkly says, "What city, if I may?"
Oh, it's in Framingham, Massachusetts, which is about 30 minutes out of Boston proper. So it's not quite Western Mass, and it's not in the city.
Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, let's see. Anything else? We have some other videos and some other things? We just show one more. I wanted to show one more video from it. It's from Amy's playing guitar on this one. I just want to show because it was a good video. Here we go.
She's the one for me. She's the one, babe.
That's cool.
Hey, it's Bailey D, baby.
Yeah, Bailey D.
Yeah.
I know she's on the show.
That was when I had asked them if they wanted to do this tribute to the Collins kids. So
which was really great.
That's where the Bopflix video came from.
Because Amy's singing voice kind of sounds like Little Larry.
Little Larry,
he was doing all the harmony stuff, and it sounded great.
Well, that was great because I got you have the whole mix, like that's harder stuff, and then you had like Dave Stuckey. May I play 30 seconds of Dave Stuckey here? Who was he playing with? Who was this with?
That's with the Dole Brothers, I think.
Let me.
Wow, I love the Dole Brothers.
Let me roll this for 30 seconds.
By rolling train, a catch bad called in the port that rain. There's only one fella that you can blame. It's nobody's fault but Shaun. You get caught stealing honey and they put you in the jug. Well, that ain't funny. You can't get out cause you ain't got the money. Nobody's fault but Shaun. It's nobody's fault but yours. It's nobody's fault but yours. Yeah, you can't get out cause you ain't got the money. Nobody's fault but yours. Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, Stuckey. We love Pappy. The Dole Brothers.
Yeah, Dave's great.
During COVID changed their name to the On the Dole Brothers. I don't know. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
That video was from what?
Oh, go ahead.
That video was from the Sunday night jamboree at the Shake Up, which is my most self-indulgent part of the Shake Up, because I tend to ask musicians if they want to cover particular songs, and the jamboree is like, if musicians want to do a song with a musician they don't normally get to play with because touring schedules, everyone's all over the country.
Wow.
So that's kind of like a mishmash thing. So I had asked Dave if he wanted to do that song with the Dole Brothers because I thought because I wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that
That's
was
a
Wally
really
on
cool
bass.
concept.
Louis knew.
Well, that's
Louis
one of the
was-
great parts
Was that
of-
Wally?
of-
Yeah, that's Wally.
Yeah.
That's one of the great
And
parts of
Robert-
the Weekender. Well, that's
Yeah.
one of the great parts of the Weekender, because like
my
you
favorite
mentioned,
part.
Paul. Well, like you said, Paul, there is such an eclectic mix of artists there, but there at the Shake Up, you never know which combination of artists you might see. I mean, you'll see artists paired with artists they would not normally have paired with, and doing the type of song that they might not have done otherwise. And so it's you always get something excellent but unexpected there, along with the usual greatness. So that's good.
Yeah, like when I had asked you if you wanted to do Havana Moon. Remember?
Oh, and that
Big
and that
Sandy?
ended up taking on a life of its own. Yeah. No, it was such a hit that we started doing it with the Fly Ride Boys, and then on tour with the Reverend Horton. He had heard us do it, and then he asked me to do it with him. So that kind of it grew from there. So thank you for that, Beck. Beck, I wanted to ask you, and this is one of those maybe tough questions, but we never shy away from the tough questions here at West Coast Ramble. But if over the years of doing the Shake Up, has there been like one moment where you stood back and said, "Yes, this is what it's all about for me"? Has there been a defining moment for you of the performances?
It's always kind of like the last song of the Jamboree every year because everybody's on stage. Every musician that is still there pretty much gets on stage and does the same song. And there's usually like 3 bass players. There's like 10 guitar players on stage.
Yeah.
And it's just like the culmination of 3 days and it's just everybody all together with the same song coming out of their face. You know what I mean? It just feels like
another place. Yeah.
But yeah, that's that to me is every year that's the best moment. I don't know about over the 6 years, but every year that's always been
that's
the best.
awesome.
And I guess maybe also when we did the tribute to Nick Curran, that whole thing was really important to me, just because we all miss him so much. So when we did that, that was a shining moment for me. Having everyone be part of that.
You are shining. You're shining tonight, Beck. This is wonderful. This is another shining moment and a rare moment because when we talked about asking the two of you to come on, I thought to myself, I don't know. You're always reluctant to go on the screen. Yeah, Shaun, what was that?
No, she's been wringing her hands all day long.
Excellent job. How about a round of applause, everybody?
She's always done a
Yay!
good job with it.
Thank you so much.
I got one last
right.
tongue-in-cheek question. What does up and coming band have to do to get on the New England Shake-Up's radar and maybe get booked by them 2022?
Have them on their
2023?
internet. Have them on their live stream show.
All right.
My blanket answer is always just be a band that I like. But you can email me.
Fair enough.
I get emails all the time on the
Tough call
on the
there.
Shake-Up page.
Yeah.
So
What if someone?
I listen to everything everyone sends me. So yeah, just fans can just.
Can we take
send
a look
me
at your
email
trash
or
can?
through Facebook? What?
What if someone sends you a video along with like a Venmo for $120? Would that up their ante at maybe being in?
I cannot be bribed.
Oh, whatever.
Beck for president then. Mike.
Speaking of Venmo and PayPal, let's take that chance right now. All of our listeners, please, if you feel gracious enough, go ahead and Venmo us at West Coast Ramble. And if you have PayPal, you can PayPal us at the really awkward TAPRD7@gmail.com. I will make sure that supports the New England Shake-Up in some small form, however we can. All your donations we put back into the artist. So thank you guys for watching and donating with us.
Yeah.
And if you were so kind as to donate, please include a little note that says, "This is not for Del Taco."
Why would you say that? That's where, when I make money off this, that's where it goes.
We're trying to kick your habit.
All right. Well, friends, thank you. And now, before the next thing, we're going to get into the studio, friends. We're going to do a studio tour, but in a nutshell, in 30 seconds, Beck, where do we go? How do we get tickets? 30 seconds. Go.
The website is newenglandshakeup.com, and if you go there, you can see the band lineup. There's info about what airlines to use, what airport to fly into, how to get from the airport to the hotel, info about all the events, and there's COVID info there too. As I find out information, I just put it all there. So that's the most accurate place to find out what's going on with health and safety regulations and things like that.
Cool.
So,
All right.
Also, any love advice you might have, send it her way.
Well, we can, this show goes to our YouTube, and we'll put a link in the description as well to New England Shakeup. So, hey, friends, I'd like to move along now. And, I've got a studio here, but I have studio envy. I saw a video of Shaun's studio, and we're going to play a video of that. And Shaun, you can go ahead and talk us through as we go. What is the name of your studio, sir?
That's Jet Tone Studio. This is what I've always called the home studio, because the first one we had, the old White House in Austin that Big Sandy remembered, was in the flight path, so jets would come and mess up our takes, so we called it Jet Tone Studios. So this is going into the basement, into the studio, and that's those are a bunch of show posters that we've been collecting, a lot of them from the Al Hawks estate from Event Records. There's a signed Jimmy Skinner promo shot, and some old High Noon posters and stuff as you go down the Jim and Jesse, Ronnie Dawson.
Yeah.
Some WTSN out here on the East Coast. There's the Event Records sign. There's old Ronnie Dawson. And here's the most important one right there. That's the Roadhog Moran and Cadillac Cowboys. We got that from Dave Stuckey. Pappy sent us that. But so this is going down into the main room, the tracking room right here.
Ooh.
And
that's nice.
That is so cool, man.
So it's a pretty good size little room, and I can actually open the wall between the control room and this room and even make more room. Some of my old amps.
Well, what do you explain your amps for us guitar nerds real quick?
Well,
what you got there?
We just passed a 62 Bandmaster there, and then that little Gibson that was sitting beside it, that's a 65 Gibson Minuteman. That was actually my grandmother's amp. Wow. And she played guitar at church, and that was her amp. The big one kind of over in the corner with the blue grill cloth, that's a 69 Standell amp, a big old solid state amp. But that amp was actually owned by a steel player in Taylor, Texas, outside of Austin, Butterball Harris, who was the steel player for Jimmy Heap and the Melody Masters. That was the last amp he bought, playing with the Melody Masters, and I happened to pick that up from a buddy of mine. There's an old 62 Concert under the cover in that reverb unit.
Yeah.
And then just that's a homemade amp sitting next to it. That head that was made by Alberto Talo, the drummer for the Texas Blue Dots, who's a really, really good electronic engineer, and he made that out of an old bread pan and a bunch of stuff he had laying around the shop.
What?
And it's a killer little 18-watt amp. And it sounds killer.
You got
all the pedal connected to it
that I have around there, and so and a lot of this stuff, a lot of the stands and stuff actually came from the Event studio, and that divider came from Event from Al Hawks from Event Studio in Westbrook, Maine. Just some of the old dynamic mics.
Yeah.
That's a homemade ribbon microphone that Chris Eckhart from King Memphis made. It's one of the condenser mics. That's one of the newer ones. I didn't know. I was just pulling stuff. I didn't even remember what I had on the floor. It's an Ecstatic 77. But I have I've been collecting mics for a long time, so I got a whole bunch of old vintage and newer ribbon microphones. There's this RCA 74B little baby ribbon mic that I couldn't get the cover off of.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I like. Oh,
yeah, those are the cool ones.
Man,
I've got a couple of those. And so yeah, we got some cool stuff down there. And the good thing is the room actually really sounds good. And so we've just finished this kind of right before the shutdown happened. I got the Rockasonics in there and recorded some stuff that sounded really good. And then we did the last High Noon 45 that was supposed to come out for Vegas. That got canceled. There's Curtis Johnson and Dick Curlis.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's stuff from Event.
Wow.
Hank Thompson. Of course, Carl Perkins right there.
Flame.
There's a Janice Martin.
Wow.
There's Hawkshaw Hawkins and Hank Williams, of course, up there. More pictures. That's me. That's actually in Boston too.
Well, I have something to say about that one after we go through this tour.
Yeah, that middle one, that was Al Hawks and Alton Moore, the Cumberland Ridge Runners. That was the first integrated bluegrass group in country music history in 1950. So this is the Lava Lounge. This is the Swell Tune Records Lava Lounge. And the control room for the studio.
Awesome.
Part of the deal with Beck for taking over the basement was she wanted her little tiki luau hangout spot, and I said, "All right, we'll just
Beck
do it
and her
here."
tiki drinks, I tell you.
Ampex 351. There's a 602. There's an old boggin tube mixer.
Oh my gosh!
And we use that a whole lot. Sounds great. And some old Altec compressor preamps and Roberts preamps. So a lot of tube preamps, and there's some old Bell preamps and used for preamping and playback. There's Frank.
Oh man,
Frank hangs out in the studio. He's playing for the Broncos this year, I guess. And that's looking back through the control room there. So, and then there's the DJ setup that I do. Podcast radio shows and stuff, along with the 45s are down there just because.
What's that disc? What is that disc down there?
That's a transcription disc. That's a Johnny Lee Wills transcription disc, and that's a Thanksgiving show from the mid '50s. Sometime I'm not exactly sure the exact.
Do you have a player for the right size?
Yes, I do actually, and I got that from Al. And I got the player from Al too. So, yeah, the Al Hawks stuff. I mean, we should talk a little bit about that too, because we've been helping out. You know, Al Hawks died in 2018 in December, and we've been helping his daughter Darlene with the estate. And Al basically left Event Records to Beck.
Wow.
Al was Beck's mentor when it came to Swell Tune Records and running a record label and all that stuff. And so she would hang out with Al, and Al said, "Hey, you know, Beck needs to take care of all this stuff." So we have kind of
before the pandemic, we had been meeting with the lawyers for the estate and trying to sort that all out, because the plan is to eventually re-release some of the stuff that was on Event. Just re-release it and so more people can hear it, but then the pandemic happened, so that's kind of a little bit on hold,
just like everything
else. But
like we work in the studio
stuff, once stuff starts being able to happen again, then I'm gonna hop back on that project. But in the meantime, we've been helping Darlene sort through all of Al's paperwork and all the historical.
Yeah, and it's the advantage of that is we've stepped into a boatload of really, really cool stuff. I'll show you some of, because I know Robert will dig this right here. See, this is the test pressing for Baby Baby by Curtis Johnson and Tony Bro on guitar. That's the test pressing for the re-release from the 70s. There for that one right there that they put out.
Okay. Yep.
like that one. Yeah. So I was pretty freaked out when I found that in the files. I was like, oh man, oh my God. And then I kept digging. I thought, well, that's pretty cool. It's the re-release from the 70s. I kept digging, and then I found there's the one from the 50s.
Whoa.
So that's from 57.
No,
That's a
what-
test pressing.
Well,
for Baby
I
Baby.
thought, okay, so the 70s ones, yeah, that's still really cool. But that too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. And it's, I mean, there's files of promo pictures and, newspaper articles and stuff. I mean, Al he kept everything kind of and filed it really good. So it's amazing. But all those show posters,
It's like turning
and
into
stuff
a
that were on the
museum
walls.
event records museum there.
Pretty much,
yeah.
There's been
Like a living
and it's funny because
museum.
Darlene's kind of shoving this stuff our way because she knows that we how much we revere it, here in Revere.
Get it, nudge, nudge.
yeah. But she knows how much we appreciate it, and that will, we're the people that will actually, kind of champion it, and we want, everybody else to see it. And one thing I'm thinking about doing, I still haven't worked it out totally, but I talked with Beck a little bit, is maybe doing a little display at the shakeup of
That would be great.
all the event stuff, yeah. Because I know there, guys like Robert and Dave and everybody we've been running around doing this stuff for 30 years. We were all such geeks about this stuff, and so I know everybody would love to see it, and I'd love everybody to see it. So hopefully we'll work that out. But yeah,
I noticed a little while back you posted a photo. You did like a social media post about one of the pieces that you were trying to help Darlene out with, that guitar. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that and maybe show people?
Yeah, this is a 1943 Bannerhead Gibson LG2 that belonged to Al Hawks, and this stayed there at the event studios, and so it got used a lot by whoever needed an acoustic guitar to play. Dick Curlis played this thing, and the big claim to fame with this thing, Al called it the Lenny guitar because Lenny Bro played this guitar all the time. Lenny would come to do sessions with like, for instance, with Dick Curlis or Curtis Johnson, and he would he'd always come with his Stratocaster because he'd be playing electric guitar, and he would set down his Stratocaster and pick up this guitar because he was starting to learn all the Travis picking stuff that he was so amazing at it, 14 years old. And he would sit and play 9-pound hammer or whatever with this guitar, and then he started asking Al in between takes if Al would tape him so he could hear what he sounded like, playing all that finger picking stuff. And so Al was doing that, and then in the 70s, Randy Bachman from Bachman Turner Overdrive was a big fan of Lenny Bro and kind of the weird kind of jazz Odyssey stuff that he got into later.
Yeah.
But he contacted Al and got him to find all those tapes. And there's a lot of them, and they put out a CD called Boy Wonder. And it's all that early Lenny Bro from when he's 14 years old, just 14, 15 years old, just playing his butt off. But that was all done on this guitar. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's amazing to have this and be the steward of it for a little while. It's up for sale. It's on eBay, and it's not cheap. I mean, LG2s aren't cheap anyway. They run in the $6,000 to $7,000 range. This one with the provenance, and just because it's only been up for a couple of months and we're just looking for the right guy, is priced at $8,000. So yeah. Yeah,
and
so that's and it's
Darlene.
Yeah, it's for the estate because the estate, there's some tax things and there's some things that need to be paid for. So, it's not that she's trying to profiteer off of her dad's legacy or anything. She's just trying to kind of get back ahead of it, and we're trying to get her there as best we can. So we've been, just going through things and finding things that are worth the money and and selling them for her so
I mean,
she can get
we bought a lot of
recruits and
records
stuff.
from
Boy, yeah, I spent a whole lot
Yeah.
of money on records.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really great. Yeah, great to see the
Well,
stuff.
Well, that's a wonderful thing you're doing to help out and carrying on the legacy there. And what an amazing studio you have there that you've built up, just kind of decorated with these pieces from the past. But as we were walking on the stairs and looking at the different posters, and maybe this can lead into this next segment. Paul, I think he wants to go into seeing like the High Noon poster there, Ronnie Dawson, along with those other, relics from the past, those beautiful things. This is actually, honestly, this is the first time I've seen mementos from my lifetime, along with these posters from the 50s and the back from the times that we all revere. That I thought, wait, it makes sense. It all goes together. Because enough time has passed that you have been part of that. What you have done is now part of that history. So, Shaun, we love you anyway, but for that even more. So,
well, yeah, it's something that's it's tough to get your head around. That
but it's a thing.
Be part
it's
of that. I know. I know you probably feel the same way, but yeah, but it's crazy. We've talked about this too. That we sit around and say that we're the age that Ronnie was when when we met him, and we were all blown away that old guy would played so good.
But Shaun, we felt that way. But then guys like Paul come along, and I know how he looks at you and High Noon and what you've done, and I know I'm not lying there, Paul.
No, man, I will say this. I was late to the game, but once I discovered High Noon from my teacher George A, my mind was blown. You guys are like the best example of what a rockabilly trio should sound. It sounds like you guys were just picked up from the 40s and 50s and put into that era of the 90s, and I love it. We've got to talk to Shaun Mencher about some of your guys' playing stuff. I just want to jump into it because it's such a heavyweight. What's some of your perspective, and what were some of the awesome things you took from not only backing up Ronnie Dawson, but touring with him, recording with him? Just what's some of your top moments from working with that guy?
Ronnie was just a wonderful cat. That's the only way to put it. He was just a super great guy, and he was a lesson in good attitude and having fun and putting on the show no matter what, like doing your job kind of. One of my favorite stories being on the road with Ronnie was one time we were coming home from the East Coast, and we had a gig in Greensboro, North Carolina, I think, and then we had to drive all the way to St. Louis the next night, which is quite a haul, And so it was one of those, sleep a couple hours, or I can't even remember. We might have just gotten in the van and started driving. I can't even remember now. But by the time we got to St. Louis, the St. Louis gig was like a Tuesday or Wednesday night, some off night, and it was in a pizza restaurant, like not even on street level. It was like a walk down, and in the basement kind of thing. And we got there, and all of us are just completely tired and wiped out. And I thought, man, nobody's going to even be at the show, I remember sitting in the back in the kitchen. We had to go back in the pizza kitchen to get changed, and changed to go do the show. And I was sitting there along with Kevin Smith and Lisa Penkratz, and the three youngest guys there, all in our 20s, kind of leaning on each other's shoulders, kind of dozing off. And Ronnie come out of the back, and Ronnie always come out with his electric guitar, just strumming and singing, "Tell me, baby, why you've been gone so long? You've been gone so long." He always warmed up singing that song, and he come walking out, and he's strutting around, and he looked over at us, and he kind of had this puzzled look on his face. He said, "Hey, what's the matter with y'all? We didn't come here to sleep." You know,
Man, that's
that's the way
awesome.
he was. It was time to do the show, and so we went out there, and there wasn't anybody there. I think there was 3 people when we started sitting out there in the pizza joint, and it didn't matter. It was the same show as when Fitzgerald's was packed in Chicago. It was the same thing. He came in through the front with his wireless, you know, and
Yeah.
and by the time we got done, there was probably 7 to 10 people there, and they were all standing up and yelling their heads off. And we got done, and he said, those people are going to go home. They're going to tell everybody tomorrow. I just saw the best show I ever saw last night. He said, next time we go, they're going to bring 2 or 3 of their friends. And so that his attitude was really, really something else. Plus, Ronnie was just a fun guy to hang out with. He was as big a music fan as anybody.
That is really cool to hear.
Yeah, some of my greatest memories are driving around in his old 70s green 78 Ford pickup truck he had, with listening to cassette tapes of Milton Brown and the Musical Brownies. And Ronnie had a laugh that was kind of he'd go and he'd point every time Bob Dunn took a solo. He'd point, he'd laugh, and, you know. Yeah, he was great. I miss him every day.
Awesome, man. Those are great stories to hear. One thing I was wondering about High Noon more specifically is you guys have these songs, you know, like I guess to like a normal listener, it's like just short and sweet. But I feel like 2 of my all-time favorite songs is Beautiful and Glory Bound. And it's not the most extensive lyrics, but they both have this heavy-hitting story that almost anybody who's ever been a musician or ever been in love and trying to ask someone to dance, you can immediately feel it. I was just wondering, like, what songs were you most proud of, or do you have, you know, more songwriting credit on one of those 2 songs in particular, because they're my favorite songs, or maybe share a little bit of how you and Shaun Menschur came up with some of your music.
Sure. Well, Shaun wrote both of those, so.
All right. Sorry.
Shaun, yeah, Glory Bound was a song that Shaun actually had written before High Noon even got together, and so that one was pretty much formed. Of course, when Kevin and I, we got that trio together has a sound. We all realize that, and a feel that just kind of happens. That's I don't know where that comes from. It's just from playing together for all the time, for so long. And when we first started the band too, if we didn't have a gig, we rehearsed every night. Shaun said, we got to do this like we're going to work. So we did it every day. And so we got good because we played all the time. That's all we did was play. But the songwriting, I mean, Shaun and I were the 2 principal songwriters, and it's probably about 50-50 on the songs between the 2 of us. They would come in with Shaun and I. They come in pretty well formed, but of course, then the other guys would add their ideas and on breaks, or changing the key during the solo or whatever, and kind of flesh it all out. But as far as lyrics go, it's kind of, we didn't really collaborate too much on lyrically, but and then Kevin wrote. Kevin, I'd always wish Kevin would have kind of taken a shot at some more songs, because he wrote 2 good ones on. He wrote "Fish and a Whole Boogie" and "Slow Down" off the Stranger Things record.
Oh yeah, I love those.
Well, as far as my favorite songs, I mean, I like the country stuff that I've written, just because, I mean, that stuff is, really kind of close to my heart. The shuffle stuff, like especially like "Old Habits." That's on the "What Are You Waiting For" record.
Man. I love that one.
I've Never Felt As Lucky. That "Walkin' Waltz" that's on that one, and "I'm Done, I'm Through."
I was just gonna ask if that one was yours. I do love "I'm Done, I'm Through." That's such a great sad song. I love it, man. Awesome. Yeah. I know we are kind of winding down, but is there any way you can
let's
treat
keep going.
us to a few High Noon songs or whatever songs you want to play for us, man? We'd love to hear it.
Well, you can stay here if you want to. I don't know.
Yeah, please do. I want to see. Yeah,
sing you a song.
You got to
And
sing them to Beck.
Before you do, go into it though, Shaun.
Uh-huh.
You just just when you were mentioning about the honky tonk stuff. This is Roberto here, by the way. Am I in the screen? I don't know.
Yeah, you're there.
But along with being, the classic rockabilly trio of our time, you were already pointing ahead to. You were moving things forward for us fellow musicians. I've told you before, because there's always a strong string of country honky tonk in your work anyway, and at times it was very pronounced before we were actually fully clued into it. So I thank you for that. I'm kind of more at that place now myself with the honky tonk music, but you, I think you kind of led the way for some of us in the rockabilly world in that regard. So I just wanted to thank you for that. That's all.
Oh yeah. And I think, I think that was part of it. I've said before, I think that was part of just being in Texas too, was we were exposed to that stuff and, and Western swing and that straight shuffle stuff and playing in Texas, even with the trio, even with that drummerless trio, we had to play, gigs back then were 4 45-minute sets. You were 45 on, 15 off, and you were playing for dancers. And so you had to play waltzes and you had to play shuffles and, different things that they danced to. And then you could play your 2-beat rockabilly stuff too. And they loved that, but you had to mix it up. And just that thing in Texas, it wasn't, there wasn't the definitive lines like between genre. And there kind of never has been. I mean, I remember going to see Clifford Scott, the saxophone player played on Honky Tonk with Bill Doggett, would play at Green Hall. And, and Clifford was, he was a cowboy. I mean, his hat and his boots on, he's playing all that killer R&B sax, African-American guy, but then, he would play Crazy Arms too, along with Honky Tonk. It's just all mixed up down there.
And he had crazy arms too, from what I hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I need to hear some more stories, I guess.
All right, let's hear something here.
Yeah, let's hear some stuff. Thank you, Shaun.
I would be remiss if I didn't do this.
Wait.
Because as I love High Noon, but
I
got to go this way. I'm all backwards and stuff.
And I love what you've been doing since I know. So yeah,
that's my latest record. So if y'all dig what I do, and like Robert said, my influences are kind of on my sleeve. Ray Price and Buddy Holly, pretty much. You can get that from the Swell Tune site, and that record's on Rhythm Bomb Records.
I was going to say it's on Rhythm Bomb.
It's on Rhythm Bomb.
But I have a curated section of stuff from other labels that I like.
And she's my girlfriend, so she has to carry it.
Kiss.
Awesome.
What is this?
But I'd like to do a song off that because it's kind of one of my favorites that I've written.
Hell yeah, man!
Kind of more recently, and it's a great Valentine's Day song, and it has that Texas feel for sure, and that Buddy Holly thing that I definitely wear on my sleeve. So here we go. Romeo loved Juliet, he had the words to tell her so. Written out, but they sound so grand, and when they're spoken, how they flow. And I know that I'm not Shakespeare, I may not say it quite as my hand. I'll say it nice and simple, and waste no more of your time. I love you more than any tongue can tell. On the day we met, that's the day that my heart fell. So in love with you, I could not speak. And though I try, the words sound weak. I love you more than any tongue can tell. I know there've been a few before who said they loved just you. Made everything sound so right. Whoop. Still, I messed that one up. Well, I know. Oh man, I completely blew that. I know there've been a few before who said they loved just you. Made 1,000 promises and kept oh so few. Man, I can't remember the lyrics now. Nice and simple. And waste no more. Yeah, I'll waste no more of your time. Here we go. I love you more than any tongue can tell.
Speaking of tongues,
On the day we met, that's the day that my heart fell. So in love with you, I could not speak. Though I try, the words sound weak. I love you more than any tongue can tell. Y'all know how it's going to end. Ready?
yeah,
Man,
That's the bane of the pandemic.
it's still that's
Not getting out and playing for a while.
that's great, dude. Your voice, I am embarrassed to admit I really haven't heard your stuff after High Noon, but you sound exactly the same and just as good. As your voice
thanks.
is exactly the
think
same as the
better.
records.
It sounds even better when I remember lyrics.
Hey, I
think,
love
hey,
it, man.
no shame in that. Who wouldn't
Exactly.
be speechless singing that song in front of the love of their life?
That's right. You took
Yeah.
my breath away.
Oh,
You better get it
and by
back.
the way,
All right.
not to put you on the spot, but I don't know if if you saw that brand new law that passed. This is okay now. This can happen. One can now be married over the internet, and I am an
really?
ordained minister. Let me put my hand over the. Oh, anyway. Anyway, moving along. Oh, let's hear some more.
Yeah, do another one, Shaun, please. Whatever
Yeah,
you
let me
want to
think
play,
here.
man. We would love it.
Hey, you know what? I tell you, hey, Shaun.
Yeah.
It's my sister's birthday today. Her name is Donna. Could you just sing? Can you do a quick little round of happy birthday to Donna, my sister?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Donna. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Awesome.
Happy birthday, baby Donna. Yeah.
Oh, Donna. Happy
Oh,
birthday.
Donna.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this right here. I'm gonna do lonesome tears, sad and blue. I shed lonesome tears for you. Yes, you know I cried when you said goodbye. When you left, said I'm gone. Lonesome tears fell all night long. Yes, you know I cried when you said goodbye. You left me here all alone. Hear me talking, won't you come back home? Hold me like you did before. Now need I tell you more? Lonesome tears, sad and blue. I shed lonesome tears for you. Yes, you know I cried when you said goodbye. Well, you left me here all alone. Hear me talking, won't you come back home? Hold me like you did before. Now need I tell you more? Lonesome tears, sad and blue. I shed lonesome tears for you. Yes, you know I cried when you said goodbye.
Yeah. Oh, that
Awesome,
was
man.
awesome, man. Great choice.
I love it.
I forgot how much I loved that song. What a
That's a great song.
man. You're a great interpreter of Buddy
You know-
Holly material. You always have been and always have folded that feel into your own music. But
Yeah.
geez, man, what that guy? He was the most forward-thinking guy of that era, man.
Oh,
I mean, he
yeah.
kind of man, oh man. Anyway,
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, man.
I've been actually that's kind of I've been kind of down this total wormhole trying to learn all of Tommy Allsup's guitar solos off those records, which whew, it's
yeah, I have them. I have them all down pat. So if you ever need me,
it's crazy. They're deceptively simple and extremely hard.
that's how they describe me, my friend.
One random question that just brought to me: are there? Because I can't think of one. Listening to like most of your catalog, are there songs where you and Mencher trade solos?
No. Well, I mean, the funny thing is that on the first record, the show and dance record, the Devil Woman, the acoustic solo on that is actually me.
Okay.
And the one big review we got of that record talks about Shaun Mencher's incredible acoustic guitar solo on.
That's the way it always works out, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great to know. That's really cool.
Which is funny because it's not an incredible guitar solo, but yeah, it's fun. You know, I played lead guitar before I met Shaun, and I was never as proficient or prolific as he was at all. But when he came along, I mean, you know, we talk a little bit about High Noon. I know it was probably the same for Robert back when we were trying to do this stuff before YouTube and the internet and kind of any kind of big revival of this stuff. You know, minus what the Stray Cats were doing.
Right.
We didn't have any visual aid to this. We'd never seen anybody play an upright bass when Kevin got his upright bass. You know, we'd never seen anybody play
record
one.
Like 100 times.
We were listening to records and looking at pictures and maybe little 2-second clips on, you know, some kind of oldies thing on PBS or something, and so we had to kind of figure it out just by listening to it, you know.
Man.
And I think that's why High Noon sounded the way it did was we listened to the stuff. The influences were pretty, you know, it was pretty dead on for what we were doing. I mean, you know, the influences, of course, were Elvis, Scotty, and Bill, and you know,
you
Gene
can hear
Vincent
the Buddy Holly influence heavily. I know you guys didn't have and you know, I love it's so underrated to have a great rockabilly band with no drummer, and it's just Kevin Smith keeping that percussion with the slaps. He knows when to switch from a single slap to a gallop to the triplet, and you and Shaun are just always in perfect harmony together. It's great. Like you guys are like the example of what a rockabilly trio. I love it. And,
well, I think you're an example. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm just gonna embarrass myself. I did this to Shaun Mencher, so I was gonna show Shaun here. I got a pretty extensive collection, man.
Oh,
they're all signed. They're all signed by Mencher so far.
Oh, cool.
I haven't had the chance.
You got the yellow vinyl too, yeah.
The one I'm looking for is the bootleg Big Sandy versus High Noon live.
Oh, that's
you know what?
That's trash.
Hey, Paul, do me a favor and remind me because I might have a copy of that.
Oh, man, I'll buy it.
I just sold mine for $300. You might want to think twice about that.
Yeah, Texas style record.
Well, yeah,
do you have the new one, the new Swell Tune one?
You know what? I do. It's not with my old High Noon.
Okay.
It's not with my old High Noon records. I have all of my signed High Noon records in one pile, and then I have the new 45 with my 45s.
Oh, yeah,
so
cool.
I didn't dig that one out.
Yeah, one of the big
it.
disappointments of this pandemic was not getting to do Vegas with High Noon and
man,
with that new record out and stuff. We were all listening
to see you guys live. I've seen Shaun with Amy and Jittery Jack, and I've seen Kevin with Willie Nelson, and now I've seen you solo, but I've never seen the power of High Noon together as a trio.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
I really can't wait.
It's so few far between because you know Kevin's just
Because of Willie Nelson. Damn him, man.
Yeah, he's playing in different tax brackets than Shaun and I. So.
No, that's wonderful. You know,
It's good
Yeah,
for
I-
him. It's awesome.
I should mention that Mentor and I have been getting together and working on some stuff in the trio format with Spike Katz, who's a great upright player from Mount.
Fantastic.
He played with the Racketeers for years and Kings of Nothing, so we're planning on, when this is all done, getting out and playing.
That trio's
In
playing
that-
at the Shake Up
Yeah,
in
that,
September.
back in that trio format, because Shaun and I, we love that format so much, and we have all those songs that we don't get to play, and
new stuff.
and a lot of new stuff, and so Kevin's just too busy to do anything, and so we're not. I mean, we're not. It's not high noon. It's just I don't know what we're calling it. Sean Young, Shaun Mentor, and Spike Katz. I guess.
Sean Spike.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you have to have a sub, and that's all right. It can still be high noon. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's,
I do. Trust me.
Yeah,
Kevin is one of my top favorite bass players. I know.
I can just understand, because we never, when you're doing something, like, you never revere it as much as other people do. So you, or maybe it's the opposite. You don't want to use the same name because like.
I struggle. Sometimes I'm like, well, why not? But yeah, it's I don't know. It'll be a different thing. So,
Yeah.
But shoot, I just I'm getting older. I can't sit around and wait for for
Willie Nelson to retire.
Yeah, Willie Nelson to retire, or
he ain't gonna retire.
Or John Doe or what is that? Who that?
He is also
John
playing
Doe.
with.
Yeah,
He also
Kevin's playing with him now.
They've done some good live stream things together. John and Kevin.
Yeah, and shit, we're thousands of miles away from each other now too. So,
Well, I love that you're
We
not
gotta get
resting
out
on
and
your I love, Shaun, that you're not resting on your laurels. I guess I was trying to get to that a minute ago, but I couldn't form my words. I don't know why. But you keep moving forward and making beautiful music every minute of the way. So thank you.
Thanks. Well,
Totally, man.
I got a bunch of stuff that I've done a bunch of stuff in the studio down there, and so hopefully we're gonna have some records out here pretty soon. Pete, actually, Goofin' Records is going to do a 45.
Really?
Of a song that I wrote for Beck called "Every Time." That's a total Buddy Holly sounding thing on one side, and then the flip side is the cover of "Where the Rio de Rosa Flows." That
that is.
And it's all me. It's just multi-tracked it all in the studio. Played all the instruments.
Yeah, but you know what the people are like demanding, though, Shaun, is you and I to do that Joe Poovey tribute album.
Oh, okay, let's do it.
Like, you didn't know that?
All right, guys, we're getting about to the end here. Let's wrap it up and say let's go over what did we talk about today? We talked about the
jokes.
We did jokes. We got more for you next
Most
week.
importantly, it was jokes. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
That was the whole. That's
Speaking
the
of
whole
which,
show.
Checked into her joke.
I wonder if Beck has a joke.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
Beck, where's our joke, Beck? Play us out on a joke here.
A grasshopper walks into a bar, and the bartender says, "Hey, we have a drink named after you." And the grasshopper says, "Oh, you have a drink named Steve?"
Hey!
That's the winner. That is the winner. You get the belt.
You
for
win the
that one.
belt. You win the belt. You win a belt that's bigger than you.
Well, not these days.
Oh, hey. All right, guys.
Whoa.
All right, guys.
Well, we're gonna let's see.
Well,
yes.
Just thank you guys so much for having us. We really enjoyed talking to y'all.
Yeah, no problem. And we're gonna New England Shake Up in September. Go to New England Shake Up. Blah blah blah. What is it? What's the
Check out Swell Tune Records as well.
Yes.
And look up High
SwellTuneRecords.com.
Noon.
She has a new magazine coming out very soon.
What?
We didn't get to talk about that.
true, yeah.
Luncheonette, it's called. We'll talk about that in part 2.
Okay. and on West Coast Ramble, you can get a shirt if you care to, made of fine cotton, and then
Right.
And then we have, hey, live in the studio, we're going to have the Rockin' Rebels next month.
Yeah.
But at the end of this month, we have Lil Sue and the Cow Tippers, a little bit Western swing. Quit laughing. It's a tongue twister. And then when Shaun Young comes out to California, he's going to play in my studio. Thanks a lot, Shaun.
You got it. I'll be
Thank
there.
you so much, Shaun. It's been a pleasure to meet you finally. I love it, man.
You
Yeah,
too,
man.
Paul.
Thank you for being on the
Thank you
show.
all so much, Tom. Thank you.
Yes. And we didn't get
Big
to
Sandy.
the snacks. We didn't get to the snacks. I'm sorry.
That's it.
All right, guys. Until we meet again.
Thank you.
Robert, love you, buddy.
House down.